Welcome to Option Trades Today. I'm Tony the Bat Batiste, and I've got not one, but two trades for you today and something to think about for the future. And while you're thinking about something for the future, do me a favor. Click the like button here if you're watching me on YouTube. If you're listening to me on your podcast, I appreciate your support. Click the like button. Put in a little comment. I'd love to hear from you. I like to do things on the podcast that resonates with you, the viewers. So let me know your thoughts, and I try to answer everyone. While you're doing that, open up an account at Tastyworks. Do me a favor, help us keep the lights on here. Tastyworks.com. That's the brokerage firm I'm using here. And what are we going to look at? Well, let's take a look at what the market's doing. Even the S&Ps right now down around 39 points. That's 39 handles on the even the S&Ps. It wasn't too long ago when we were flirting with 4,000 or was over 4,000. You can see right here just a couple of days ago. And we have over 320 charting indicators inside the Tastyworks platform. I only use these two, which is pretty fundamental and really kind of simplistic in nature. I'm just looking at a one-year chart and then the IVR high and low. That's the Tastyworks IVR high and low of any one product. I'm looking at E-mini S&Ps. But what I do like to do to find a trade is go into here, where I'm clicking on the left-hand side here, and you'll notice that there are many different things that you can look at. Here's all the charts, the Tastyworks charts, which you can have multiple screens, put them on multiple screens if you want to. You can listen to Tasty Live, which you see me on. You can get your own history from all the trades you've done. And here's the follow page. If you're looking for all of these trades that I'm going to do today, all you got to do is go to the bottom here and click on Bob the Trader. And you'll see there's my coin trade from yesterday where I was rolling from 1 month to a next here, showing you that I'm down around $2 on this trade. This trade I put on. Well, let's take a look. If you just put in the search, if you put in coin, you'll see everything I've done on coin. Here, I put this trade on back on 112. It has not worked out nicely for us at all. If you're watching here, here's my little comments. Stangle, I'm full size on this trade. And then all the adjustments and the time of the day when I've done this. Look at coin was all the way up to $57. And then yesterday, I decided to buy in the February very tight strangle that I end up having after rolling, and then moving it out to March and widening our strikes for a debit of $2.67. Remember, you're still selling premium when you widen out the strikes, even though you're doing it for a debit. So I try to put comments in each one of these. You can see where the stock was when I put these prices on. Coin all the way up to $57. If you go back to the original trade that we put on, we were putting on the 55.35. So when the stock was around $46. So the stock moved $11 in a very short period of time, in just about a week. And we're down $2 on the trade. I think we're down a little bit less now that coin's kind of settled in. But anyway, that's one way to see all the trades I do on this podcast. You can follow all of them as Bob the Trader on the bottom there, as you can. Tom, Liz and Jenny, Tony from Mexico, Jamal, Nick, my son, Jim, and all the rest of the team. All right, what are we going to look at today? I like to go to the watch list. I like to go to the high option volume list. I also like to put it by IV rank. I like to have the IV rank high. I like to have the 5-day volatility change be high also. Now, one of those trades, if you were following along, was W that we put on. That's Wayfair. We put it on for around a strangle for around $4. We were able to take it off 2 days ago or so, or yesterday, for a quick dollar profit. Let's look at what's going on here in W. You've got volatility expanding by almost 7% over the last 5 days. Having taken that strangle off, that strangle that we took off is actually higher today. So got a little lucky. You take a look there and, manage your winners when you can. I like to try to make a buck on these. That's what we were looking for as our price target. We got that and we took it. So you got earnings coming on the 23rd. So you know me, I'm probably going to try to do my best to avoid earnings. I'm going to stay in February. IV rank is high. IVX 5-day change is extremely high. I'm going to stay in February, and in February, I'm going to go back to the well in W. I'm going to widen my strikes. I'm going to go to the 30 puts, and I'm going to go to the 50 calls, and I did this for $1.93. As you can see right now, the mid price is $1.92. Markets are a little bit wide here, 5 cents, 4 cents, 6 cents wide. Just leave it in if you think this is a good trade for you. It does have a 71% pop. 193 is where I got filled. 192, does it really make a difference? Well, it makes a difference by a penny. Pop is 71%. It has a negative 4.5 deltas. I really consider that delta neutral. People always ask me, and I was asked on the show live today, when do I like to roll up the untested side? I would roll up the untested side when this delta gets to be around 15 to 25 deltas. That's my threshold for rolling up the untested side. The theta decay on this trade is around $8.60. That's how much I make per day for taking the risk of having the stock move outside of its expected move. Beta weighted delta towards SPY, it's short about 1 delta per contract, and my buying power effect is relatively low because it's a relatively low price stock at $868. Okay, to save a little bit of time, what is my next trade that I'm going to? Well, something I haven't traded in a real long time, UNG. And I listened to the comments. I got a lot of comments on how would you trade natural gas? Would you go into NG, which is the larger product that's here on the left-hand side? That's the future. I think it's too big for most retail investors. I don't like the markets in /NG. And you want to know something? The markets aren't much better in UNG, but at least you can get some penny-wide markets. Now look at here. I'm looking at the high option volume, and I'm trying to find UNG. It would be highlighted. There it is. Look at what's going on over the IVX 5-day change. It's one of the highest IV ranks of 69%. It's up almost 2% for the last 5 days. It's at the highest end that it's been for volatility range. Look at what the stock has been going. Stock's been going nothing but down. Now, you know what's unusual here is usually with commodities, you get and that's what UNG is, a natural gas fund, a commodity fund. When it goes higher, volatility expands. But volatility is really expanding here to the downside. But I want to keep it tight in here too. I don't want to get married to a UNG position. It's not my favorite thing to trade. So what am I looking to do here? I'm going to go to March in UNG. I'm going to do a jade lizard in here. What am I looking to do in here? I'm going to sell, well, let's take a look at the 11-12 call spread. Okay, that's 38 cents. I like to collect 1/3 the width of the strikes. I like to have a pop of around 64%. That works. And then I'm going to sell the 9 puts. And you can see this whole thing is trading for around $1.13. This would be a jade lizard in UNG. For $1.13, I have no risk to the upside. You can see this green little line here shows you no risk to the upside. Uses a relatively small amount of buying power, $378. Let's call it $400. It has 16 positive deltas and a 74% pop. So you people want a smaller trade, this would be a smaller trade. It has a delta of positive 16, and it gives me $1 or so in theta decay per day. Beta weighted delta is relatively small at less than 1/3 or just about 1/3 of a share of a share of SPY. Now, can you do this trade in February if you wanted to go a little bit tighter in here? Well, you could, but you wouldn't be able to get over that $1, which allows you to have no risk to one side. And if you look at them as standalone trades, the call spread for 34 cents works out okay, meaning it's 1/3 the width of the strikes. But you know what? Not collecting over $1, having risk on one side lowers your probability of profit to about a 50-50 shot. I prefer the trade in March, so I will make that trade in March. One more trade. I told you I was going to give you 2 trades. Those are my 2 trades. They're relatively small. I'm looking at SPX right now. Let's take a look at something if we can. SPX has an IV rank of 19 and change. SPY is another good way of looking at the volatility or IV rank. And if you go into SPY, you'll see it's exactly the same, 19.7. I have it up here because SPX never makes the high option volume list because obviously it's 10 times the size of SPY. But look at what's been going on here. Volatility's been creeping over the last 5 days, and the IV rank, which was 0 or below just a few days ago, has popped up to just under 20. SPY, believe it or not, has a higher implied volatility right now than the Qs at 14.7. And when you look at the Qs here, their volatility obviously has been updating over the last five days also. And then IWM, I think, is the least. Oh no, it's almost 18%, almost keeping up with SPY, and its volatility has been creeping up too. So SPX is on my radar for one of the trades that I've had great success with in 2022. Have done it already in 2023. Hope to put on these trades a lot more in the coming months. It's one of my favorite types of trades. It really hinders or really expects volatility to contract. Let's look at /VX for a quick second. Trading near the highs of the day. This is getting a little bit tempting for me. I do not have this trade on right now. Look at what volatility's done. Now, again, it is 22.5. It is at the lower end of its range down to 20, but we've had a nice 6, 7, almost 8% move in volatility so far. So it's getting interesting. Well, let's get to the trade. I'll show you what it is. It's a very wide broken wing butterfly. I would look to put this on in March. I like the AM options. It's just personal preference, whether you want to go to the weeklies. Everything is very liquid in SPX. I like to go down to around the 15 delta option just for giggles right now. We'll go to the 1550. I'm sorry, the 3550. I like to go $50 wide. Let's go to the 3500s. I like to do this 1 by 2. That would be a ratio spread. People always write in, hey, how about the ratio spread alone? Yeah, it just uses a lot of buying power. That's the only problem. Look at it. You're looking at $70,000 in buying power. So to reduce that buying power, I make it a broken wing butterfly. I like to go 2 times what I just paid for it. I'm paying $50 for this spread. It's a $50 wide spread, 3550 to 3500. I like to go $100 wide, so I'm risking 1 to make 2. I like to collect at least $3 on this spread, so I would have to move the strikes up 1 or 2 strikes. Let's go to 60 just to show you, and go to 10. This is basically how I look to find all of the trades that I do. I'm moving this up 10. You're going down to $2.65. So if I get to move this up maybe 1 or 2 more strikes, and volatility continues to expand, and you expect the market to rally, this will be a trade I'll look to put on. If the market sells off today and into Friday, and then we get back on the show here for this podcast on Tuesday, then I will look to put on this trade. You know, I only do the podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I do try to save all these trades that you see that I do live while we're doing this podcast. All right, well, those are my 2 trades and 1 little trade to watch. I feel like a dentist who's looked at your teeth and they're saying, hey, we're going to put a watch on this tooth. Watch SPX. If volatility expands, it goes up maybe around $1. I'll look to put on that trade today, and maybe the market capitulates a little bit to the downside. If you expect to go higher, maybe that's a trade you put on. It is a trade that benefits from volatility contracting and the market going higher. That's all I got for you today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.